Welcome to another prehistoric episode. Today's mission is quite hard as we need to travel back to the frozen North Pole and discover prehistoric animal mummies from the Ice Age. Did you know that prehistoric animals have been found mummified into the glaciers of the Northern Hemisphere, mainly in Siberia and Alaska? Let's find out what has been found.
Due to the ongoing climate change and the global temperature rise, glaciers and the permafrost, which is the soil that has remained frozen for years, melt and reveal prehistoric animals that have stayed in deep frost for thousands of years. Permafrost covers 11% of Earth's surface, including underwater permafrost. Let's start with prehistoric bisons. Bison is a large bovine that is represented today by two species in America and Europe and are the biggest mammals that live today in those areas as they reach a weight of 1.2 tons. The first prehistoric bison that you see here is called Blue Babe. It's a steppe bison that lived 36,000 years ago in the area of Alaska and was discovered in 1979 from gold miners. It took the name Blue Babe from the blue coloration that the mummy got due to the mineral vivianite that formed on the skin of the animal when it was buried under soil. While the carcass seems to have scratches and bite marks on its head indicating that it fell prey to some extinct Ice Age lion species, it hasn't been eaten by scavengers as the super cold temperatures froze it really quickly. Blue Babe is the only exhibit of Pleistocene bison in the world. The second find is again a mummified bison called Ukayer, named after the tribe of the northern Siberia that discovered it. This is also an ancestor of today's European bison that is 10,000 years old and is a steppe bison. It's a unique specimen as all internal organs have been preserved, and it was 4 years old when it died of starvation. We can get all this information due to the incredible state of preservation of the internal organs. For the 8th place, we have a unique 12.5 thousand year old pup from Yakutia, Siberia. It has been preserved at a level of 70 to 80%, but most important fact is that its brain has been perfectly preserved and is the first that has been studied from this family of carnivorous mammals. The puppy died during a landfall and was buried into the permafrost that made it possible to become a mummy. It's also interesting to know that broken bones of other animals, tools, and ash traces were found nearby. That's why scientists believe that this puppy belongs to one of the oldest domesticated dogs, man's best friend. Subscribe to my channel and let's move on to the next place. Now let's move on to the 4 mummified lion cubs that have been found. The first two are Sparta and Boris, that were thought to be siblings at first because they were found at a distance of 10 meters from each other. But in fact, the first was 26,000 years old and the second was 44,000 years old. Sparta died of starvation as her mother left the den and never came back, while Boris died due to a landslide that trapped him into the den. Both lion cubs belong to the cave lion species that diverged as a species from the modern lion 1.8 million years ago. Two more young lion cubs that were found mummified are Uyan and Dina, named after the river Uyantina. They were discovered in 2015 and were indeed siblings, but their condition is not good enough for us to determine their gender. They were estimated to be 29 to 57,000 years old and died at the age of 1 week. They were very small, weighing around 2 to 3 kilograms. This puzzles scientists who speculate that they may be something even rarer, such as young lynxes that died after the collapse of their den, similar to the case of Boris previously. Generally, felids create dens to protect their young, so this is no different in the case of these two species. For the next place we have Zur. Zur was a prehistoric direwolf that once roamed in the land of Yukon during the Ice Age, but despite the passing of time, Zur's body remained remarkably well preserved. The extreme cold and snow had acted as a natural freezer, and over the centuries, its body became mummified. It wasn't until modern times that Zur's body was discovered by a group of gold miners in 2016 in Yukon, Canada. They were amazed to find this ancient specimen in such a pristine condition. Scientists marveled at Zur's perfectly preserved food and even discovered bits of undigested food in its stomach. They were able to learn a great deal about its life and the environment it lived during the Ice Age. Specifically, it seems that the puppy was 7 weeks old when it died, and it was when it started to chew hard food like salmons from the freshwater streams of Klondike. A fun fact is that Zur means wolf in the local dialect. Unfortunately, the collapse of the den that was its shelter led to instant death and mummification. Let's now see the one and only mummified bear in the world that has been found in Siberia. It was found in the island Bolshoy Liakovsky, and it's about 30,000 years old. It's a cave bear, a species that has gone extinct now, but it once was a huge, mainly herbivorous bear that reached a weight of 1.5 tons. Cave bears appeared 300,000 years ago and got extinct mysteriously 20,000 years ago. Maybe pressure for hunters or the climate change led to its extinction. I present you now the Yukagir horse. It's a partial mummified carcass from a 5-year-old horse found in Yukagir village in Siberia. Even if the mammoths that you will see next are found in a 50-meter distance from the site of its discovery, this find is 4,600 years old, while the mammoths are 39,000 years old. The wild horses of the area were very few and lived around a wet tundra and not a typical dry steppe. However, the best discovery of this category is the mummified foal. It was found in the area of Yakutia, Siberia, and is 30 to 40,000 years old. It belongs to the species Equus lenensis as the previous, which differs genetically with the species that inhabits the area today. To continue, I have something even more spectacular to show you. Let's go to the mummified rhinos. Yes, you heard correctly, rhinos. Once again in Yakutia, in a gold mine, a mummy of a female woolly rhinoceros was discovered in 2007. The rhinoceros was named Colima after the river in the area. The mummified body belonged to an animal that once weighed 1.5 tons and is 30,000 years old. Apart from that, a nearly intact young rhinoceros only 10,000 years old was found in the Siberian region. Since it's not possible to determine its gender, it was named Sasha, a name used for both sexes and the name of the one who discovered it. This animal was only 7 months old when it died and had a size that modern rhinoceros take at least 18 months to reach. The Paleontological Institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences took on the task of preserving and exhibiting the animal as well as studying it. Researchers were surprised to find that the color of the young rhinoceros was reddish, which they highlighted by creating a replica of the animal. Before we leave the rhinos, I would like to mention that we don't know exactly what led to the extinction of the woolly rhinoceros, as the prevailing theory suggests that the climate change affected the habitat of these animals or that human hunters drove them to extinction. For the end, I keep my favorites, which are the mammoths. 3 young mummified mammoths with a unique story each have been found. They are called Luba, Yuka, and Xenia. Luba is the youngest mammoth who died at the age of only 30 days. She is a female mammoth of about 42,000 years old and is the second best preserved woolly mammoth in the world. She was discovered in 2007 and has the size of a large dog while weighing only 50 kilograms. She died from suffocation as she got trapped in a water pond and swallowed mud. Next is Yuka, another female mammoth which holds the first place in best preserved mummies. She lived 34,000 years ago and died at the age of 6 to 8 years old due to unknown causes. In 2014, she was taken to Moscow to be exhibited to the public. Now it's Xenia's turn, the male mammoth found in northern Siberia. He is the big brother, after he died at the age of 16 years, and was named after an 11-year-old toddler who discovered him while walking in the area with his dog. Another mammoth mummy discovery is now featured on my Instagram account, so don't forget to check it out after viewing this video. As you can see, the mummified remains of prehistoric animals are very important for our knowledge about prehistory, and every new discovery is going to give more incredible information about the way of life of prehistoric creatures. Due to climate change, the permafrost is constantly melting, and thus more and more often similar findings will come to the surface. All we need is some people to be there at the right time and at the right place to discover them in good condition. If you want me to create more scientific videos, join my Patreon community, link in the description.